Why did I move to Paris, France as a 48-year-old woman giving up my life in Atlanta? Why did I move here? In this video, we're going to talk about it. But first, hey girl, hey, my name is Tanisha Mercer. I help Black women solo travel and move abroad. If any of that is on your heart, girl, you already know what to do. Like, share, follow, and don't forget to subscribe. In this video, we're going to talk about why I chose to move here as a 48-year-old woman at that time living in Atlanta, why I chose to uproot my entire life, girl, and move abroad, and why I picked Paris. This is a question that I got last week from a viewer, from a comment in a YouTube video. And it's something that I keep getting asked, so I figured I would go ahead and answer it. Let's get it started. So one of the reasons why I moved here, number one, Paris, France, specifically Paris, was my favorite city in the world, okay? I have always been into fashion. Paris had been that girl for me for a very long time. I grew up looking at fashion magazines, and it was two places that they always were at: Paris, New York, right? And also Milan. Now, New York City, I've been there before. That's fine. I love New York. But Paris was always that girl for me. And I haven't been to Milan yet. I will go soon. But Paris was a place that I had never been. And so in 2017, I made my first trip here. It was my first solo international trip, okay? And I finally visited a place that I had always, wanted to come to. Now, let me back up a little bit. I came here in October of 2017 as a widow, okay? I was grieving the loss of my spouse, my partner of 21 years. And I lost him after a brief illness, okay? And so things went downhill pretty quickly. He had a long-term chronic illness, but things went downhill pretty quickly. So I knew what the bad part of life looked like. And he was someone that we traveled together. The last 5 years of his life, we traveled extensively. And so I knew where I wanted to go. I knew what I wanted to do. I knew that this was one place that we had not checked off our list. He wanted to take me to Paris. Of course, he knew that was my dream place, but unfortunately, his illness did not really make that possible. It was going to be too impossible to make that particular trip. So I came here because, again, I knew what it's like to see someone that you love, slip away. And I was like, I got to keep continuing to travel. We had literally traveled around the world together, and it was like, I need to keep going. So I booked that first solo trip to Paris, and baby, I fell in love with it. I'm not even gonna lie, y'all. I mean, the lifestyle, the culture, everything. It was, like I said, it was that girl for me. It was everything that I thought that it would be, and then some. And so I kept coming back, and I have probably traveled here maybe about 12 to 15 times after that, right? After that first trip, I was always here. And I felt that when I was here, that when I was back home in Atlanta, now, y'all know I'm a Detroit girl, but I lived in Atlanta for 15 years, right? So 16. So when I would go home to Atlanta at that time, I would be missing Paris so much. I didn't even want to be there. Okay, I was like, I'm over it. I was over it. I already knew. So for me, in my heart, this is where, again, I love the lifestyle. I love the culture. I love the fashion. I love the international vibe of the city. I loved all of that. So this checked all the boxes off for me. Now, have I been to other places? Yes, I have. I've been to probably more than 30 countries. There were other places that I could see myself traveling to more often, but I could not quite see myself living there. My second option was going to be Mexico. And actually, I traveled there during the pandemic in what year was it? I want to say it was either 2020 or 2021. And again, I've been to a lot of other places. I've been to all different countries. And although they were nice to visit, for me, France, Paris specifically, checked off all the boxes that I needed. I needed to be in an international city. I needed to be able to have relatively close proximity to other expats or Americans, whatever you want to call it, people who move around. I needed to have a lifestyle, the cost factor, right? It needed to be in my budget. It needed to be relatively affordable by my standards. So it really, for me, Paris specifically, it checked off all the boxes. The lifestyle, the one of enjoying life, right? The one of working but having a good work-life balance. Another thing that was really important to me was the ease of getting a visa. France specifically makes it really, the visa process is not very complicated. It's pretty much straightforward. You have to make a certain amount of money, have a certain amount of assets. You need to have French healthcare insurance, which you can buy that, a plan for that. You need to write a letter explaining your plans for coming, and this is for the tourist visa. There are a number of different categories for visas. There is a link in this video to my immigration attorney. If you are interested in coming to France and you are interested in moving here, make sure you click on that link, and it's an affiliate link and it gives you a discount. Okay, that's all I will say about that one. But I'm telling you, as an American, it is not that difficult to get a visa here. And so all of that, those were things that were my consideration, right? The ease of me getting a visa was very, very important because I knew I wanted to live here long term. So I was able to get a tourist visa relatively easy. I wanted a place that met the different tax stipulations. There are some countries you go to, there is no treaty or trade agreement with the US. So the income here is not double taxed. It is relatively straightforward. As of this video recording, now I don't know what that man in office is really gonna do, but traditionally, France and the US have been allies for a very long time. So things are changing immigration-wise, but I will say that as of this recording, it is still relatively easy to get a tourist visa as an American. Now, there are other categories of visas you can get, and you need to call that attorney that's in my caption. Click on that link and he can tell you which ones. But it is still relatively easy to get a visa here. What else? Affordability was a big one for me. Now, a lot of Americans, when they come here, they do the whole, oh, Paris is expensive. That's because, girl, you're a tourist, right? You're doing the tourist stuff. Your average Parisian doesn't go out and eat croissants every day, or they're not going to get, $10 hot cocos, delicious hot cocos. They're not going out to eat that, to drink that every day, okay? The lifestyle is a bit different. So when you're traveling here, yes, you are acting like a tourist. I get it, but that is not the lifestyle of most Parisians, right? So it is actually relatively inexpensive when you really know how to live like a true Parisian. And especially if you are in like an average neighborhood, probably not one in like your heavy tourist areas, you can definitely come up. It's going to be different. It's not going to be like the US. Let me get that whole thing straight, okay? I literally live in a place that is probably smaller than my 2.5 car garage used to be in the US, okay? So it was a place where I could adjust. And I had been here enough times to where I knew what I was getting into. Again, I've traveled to many other countries, many other cities. This Paris was just that girl for me. Like, bottom line, Paris was that girl. And so a friend of mine, who lives in the UK, she keeps asking me like, girl, why don't you get out of Paris? And I may one day, but for right now, Paris is that girl for me. I hope this video breaks it down a little bit and you can understand why I have the love for this particular city and country. And as an American, again, it is relatively easy to get a visa here, and I'm loving my life here. Look at my view. Like, y'all see this view? Like, this is my life, and I love that for me.